afternoon to all of you. It's my extreme pleasure to welcome all of you to the live interview corresponding with the International Conference of Quality Education 2024. Let me take this opportunity to brief about the upcoming conference, which will be held on the May 26th to May 30th, 2024 in the capital city of India, New Delhi. This conference will establish and give us a delightful and a magnificent opportunity to set up a rewarding platform to embrace positive changes in education and meet the global leaders, inspiring personalities and VIPs from the different countries. The main objective of this conference is to focus on empowering the 21st century skills and spiritual well-being in children by enhancing the quality of education, by empowering STEAM education, employability, entrepreneurship, green education, and mindfulness. Some of the interesting themes of the conference will be based on early childhood and school curriculum, pedagogical approaches, capacity development of teachers, researchers, innovations, and corporate social responsibility, and much more. These are compulsory to be upgraded rapidly to develop skills that are essential for the 21st century skills and spiritual well-being of the children. Through the conference, the opportunity will be given to emphasize ways to develop these essential skills and overcome the competitiveness of the global society. The conference is not a single event. It is a process of upgrading the quality of education. To build up the atmosphere of the upcoming conference, live interview series will be conducted with experts from the industry, which will make us to be connected and be familiar with the changes. Hi, this is Shewar Suhair, Head of Early Childhood Department, Senior Lecturer from Amazon Campus, Bamlapiti, Sri Lanka, your talk show host for today, joining you for this lovely interview on behalf of International Association of Quality Education. Before we begin our interview session, let me kindly invite the President of the International Association of Quality Education, Mr. Janaka Kamalgoda, to launch the session by speaking a few words.
Thank you very much, Sohari. It is very pleasure to speak few words before you start a live interview with Mr. Jamtsho. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Jamtsho, the country manager of the South Asia International Association for Early Childhood Care and Development. He's a very talented trainer. He has a lot of experience related to the early childhood education. Invite to the all educators in other South Asian countries also to get this opportunity. Share your knowledge, share your best practices with the global community. All of you know that we are going to conduct International Conference on Quality Education in New Delhi, India from May 26 till 30. Parallel to the conference, we do all the activities as pre-conference activities to enhance the quality of early childhood education. I would like to invite all of you, even to our physical conference, to take part and share your best practices, share your knowledge with the international community in international platform, and get honor awards for your talents and your best performance also. Thank you very much. All the best, Sohari. We hope this session, today workshop, today lecture will be more valuable to all educators, all the teachers, all the students, parents in early childhood sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So the moment has come and I take pride and honor and deeply privileged to welcome the famed, respected personality who is going to join us all the way from Bhutan on the live interview series. With the greatest difficulty managed to scoop out time from his very busy and hectic schedule and accepted my invitation. He is none other than Mr. Jamtsho, who is the founder, president of Bhutan Early Childhood Education and Development Association, head of South Asia for the Global Foundation for Early Childhood Education and the country representative for the South Asian Institute of Early Childhood Care and Development, Sri Lanka. And also, he is the founder, CEO of Gelephu Child Care Center. Sir, good afternoon, and I warmly welcome you, sir, on board. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Ayo Bhavan. Greetings from Bhutan.
So the topic today, as we all know, is why native language and culture is important in early childhood education. A very interesting topic and very much relevant to the field. We usually take certain things for granted and we feel certain aspects are not important. But sir, when you choose this topic for the interview, it made me to ponder definitely that native language and culture undoubtedly is important for a child's foundation. So sir, can you please define or explain what is early childhood education, sir?
Well, I have chosen this topic when we discussed a lot about the topics last time. I felt the need of this topic to be discussed today because not knowing the fact that the native language and culture is important for every children in early childhood education. We sometimes tend to think and sometimes we tend to neglect the importance of the native language. So I felt the need. I felt it is important to discuss. So I thought like it's better to discuss and let people know. Of course, many people knows the importance of their native language and culture, but I felt it's sometimes it's good to remind the policymakers, to the educators about that topic. So I have chosen this topic, and I like to thank you personally for accepting the topic to discuss today. Well, coming to your question, how would I define the early childhood care? According to my knowledge, I've been working in the early childhood care for the last 7 years in the education system. So, in a way, I know the importance of early childhood education. The basic foundation is very important in its life. If it is a building, if we are constructing a building, the foundation is very important to have a lot of store on the top. We have around 25 to 20 storage building. What is so important is the foundation is very important. We cannot just go on the top, but the foundation is important. So for me, early childhood education is the foundation for every education. Every child should go through early education before they join the formal school. I feel that the basic foundation in child is the holistic development approach. It is a wide variety of activities designed to promote children's cognitive, social development, before entering the formal school. So I feel that the early childhood education knowledge is very important.
So,
Yes,
sir,
ma'am.
does your country Bhutan believe it to be the foundation and crucial stage in the early childhood development?
Oh yes, yes. In Bhutan, we believe the foundation is very crucial in the stage of every child's life. For this matter, in Bhutan, education and healthcare system is free. So it's a gift from His Majesty the King to the people of Bhutan. Education and the health is totally free in the country till the tertiary level. So when we will once get education and childcare free, so we know it's important. We know the crucial stage. So keeping that in mind, in Bhutan, in the education system, we have a different level of ECCDs taken care by different organizations. For instance, we have a community ECCDs which is taken care by the government, and the private ECCDs in the urban areas, private ECCDs are taking care. And at the same time, there are so many NGOs, ECCDs, we call Early Childhood Care Development Center, ECCDs. So in that, itself shows the crucial stage in every child's life that the early education is important. So in order to cater the service to every citizens in the country, regardless of their profession, regardless of their, whatever the stage they have, the importance of that early age, there are so many ECCDs given option to the parents, and parents can choose wherever they want to go. So I feel that in Bhutan we have a crucial, at the same time, the foundation stage in every child's, for this matter, is very important. Yes, ma'am.
That's well explained, sir. Thank you. Moving to the topic, can you explain what you mean by native language, sir, in early childhood education?
Well, native language in early childhood education, I personally mean to say, is like with this generation in the 21st century, everybody is towards the digitalizations and going towards the STEAM educations. And, there are so many things like people are running after. But sometimes I feel that in the world, what is so important is people are sometimes losing the culture, native language, where every parent should know the importance and every policymaker should know the importance. At the same time, all educators should know that native language for every child is important. Without that one, it's, there's chances of losing one's identity. If one wish to have its own identity, if one wish to have its own identification wherever they go in the world, for instance, if I travel around, when I travel around the world, people recognize me, you're from Bhutan, because I have my own identity. I wear my national dress, and then I can speak my local language. So that's very important. Now with the digitalizations and people running after the STEAM education, sometimes we feel that, I feel that the native language is neglected. So children, when they are born, they are given the gadgets. So children, before going to the formal schools and before going to the preschools and ECCDs, they speak the English language so well, international language. I'm not saying that international language is not good, but what I'm trying to say is they get to learn in the school. At home, when your child is at home, the native language, the local language, the mother tongue, every child should know the culture at your own place. Every child should know how to speak their own native language. Then the culture goes is preserved. And I feel that every parents and school should adapt this culture, especially when the child is very young, that we should put it in the child's brain the importance of native language. Yes.
So it's very well understood that native language is indeed very much important. So, sir, coming to discuss about the culture, according to you, sir, how important is the role of culture, sir, in early childhood education?
Well, same like native language, culture is important. Every country has its own culture. Every state has its own state culture. But overall, if you think about, we have our own culture to preserve. Without knowing the history of its own country, it's difficult for the child to tell, or if it's difficult for the citizens to tell that I'm from this particular country. You, as a person, the citizens of the country, should be able to tell your culture, should be able to transfer that culture to the next generations. So I feel that equally like a native language, the culture is also very important, because now with the 21st century, the children get to watch everything online. Sometimes they try to copy from each other's culture, not knowing the importance of our own culture. And in this, the government, policymakers, parents, educators, it's responsible for every individual to take care of their own native language, to take care of their own culture, and to pass down to the next generation, so that if you look, when you look down, around 10 to 10 to 30, 40 years, that the culture remains same and not it's the copied, and like for instance, if I wear I don't know what you call the way you salwar we call, right? The
Shalwar,
top that
yes,
you
yes. Hijab.
salwar, correct. Now,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if I wear this along with my with my national dress, it's going to look so different.
Yes.
So, but now with the culture, with the technologies, sometimes children may try to do it in a different way. That's how we lose the culture. So I feel that the parents, every educators, every institute, the policy makers should come together and preserve their own culture first, pass down to the children. Children should know the importance, and that's how we develop, that's how we adopt others' culture, not losing our own identity.
Mm.
So I feel that equally like a native language, the culture is also very, very important.
Totally agreed, sir. So it really proves that culture is also equally important as the native language. Sir, as we know, all countries are now focusing on developing the 21st century skills, and that has to be developed from the early childhood stage. So when we talk of 21st century skills, we know that the four C's, the four important C's, are communication, collaboration, critical skills, and creativity. So when we talk about communication, sir, I feel that communication is very much important, and this skill has to develop. So, sir, according to the Bhutan early childhood curriculum, can you please explain the structure and how you develop the communication skills in your children, sir?
Okay, thank you. But before that, I'd like to tell a little bit about the spiritual and culture values in Bhutan. We have one very important domain in early childhood care that is called the spiritual and culture values.
Mm,
So that should be inculcated in every child at the very young age, so that the culture values continues, the spiritual values continue. In Bhutan we have only two, but the Buddhist we follow, we are Buddhism. But in the southern part of Bhutan, we have a Hindu religion also, where it is allowed to practice. So the children should know, the community people should know the importance of their own spiritual values. If the children should know the importance of their own culture. So coming back to your question about the 21st century language, right? You said about the development of the childhood stage.
yes, communication.
So I feel that in the early, yeah, in the communication, what exactly we do is the first is the mother tongue, as
Mm,
I mentioned in the earlier. First is mother tongue and the native language, not just English.
mm,
English is very important. It's an international language.
mm.
Everything is written in English.
English, yeah.
But what is so important is you should know your own mother tongue first and the native language, not just English. So in Bhutan, what exactly we do is we focus on our national language first. In Bhutan, before joining to the early childhood care, they speak their own mother tongue, any mother tongue what they speak. We have around 20 states, and every state has its own language, different language, mother tongue we have. So the children get to learn that at home. And after coming to the early childhood education, or after joining the early childhood, so we let the child to speak that mother tongue for a month, at least a month, so that
Mm,
the children get to know their language. At the same time, our teachers can communicate with the children. So we focus the local language for a month in the school as well. And once the children get adapt and used to with the school program, then slowly we introduce the international language. So that's how we develop the communication skills in children in
mm,
Bhutan. And at the same time, we have a syllabus which is focused on national language, and we have a syllabus which is focused on international language, including the modernization tools and all that. But what is so important is children should not mix local and international together. For instance, if I speak my national language, I should be speaking just the national language, not mixing
mm.
the words with English words.
Yes.
I have seen around the world when I travel, people speak in English, but sometimes when the English word doesn't come out, they use the English language or local language. And when they speak the local language, they sometimes the words doesn't come in the mouth, so they directly
Mm.
speak out the English words. Mixing every
Mixing.
language together
Mm,
is not a good thing to do. Correct. So in Bhutan, what exactly we do is we focus on our national language as well as the international language. And when we teach and when we communicate with the children in the school, we let children to speak a particular language. not mixing all the language together. So that's what exactly we do and develop communication skills in Bhutan.
So that was, I
Yes.
think, impressive strategies. Uh, So moving to our next question, sir. According to some countries' curriculum and their policies, they teach children to write letters at a very early stage itself. Where my country is concerned, sir, Sri Lanka, we focus only on the pre-writing and the pre-reading skills and do not allow them or force them to read and write. So can you kindly, sir, elaborate on your experiences regarding this phenomena according to the Bhutan early childhood education?
Okay, very interesting question, madam. Uh, in early childhood care, what is so important is we should not let the children to write. The writing they get to do in the formal school. In the child care, in the early childhood care, what is so important is to develop the motor skills, as far as possible. Their nerves should move. They should have a free movement of their fingers so that when they write, then the writing comes in a smooth way. First is the motor skills development. So how do you develop the motor skills development? We give a lot of practice on the clay. We give a lot of free writing, and then of course the balancing is also there according to the syllabus. But we do not focus so much on the writing skills in early childhood, and then we do not encourage schools to also to give a writing skills. What is so important is that ECD or early childhood school should focus more on the craft, more on motor skills development, and letting children to move their fingers perfectly so that when they go to the formal school, they write easily. So of course they should be able to hold a pencil properly, to color it in a proper manner. But what is so important is we should not let the children to write everything in the preschool, in the early childhood period, because this is not as per the research. The mind doesn't accept the children to do everything like a formal school. So in the early childhood care, it should be a free learning. The learning should be fun, and children should be able to hold the pencil or the colors properly, and then slowly they should be able to write it properly. Then only we can focus on the writing. But in Bhutan, we focus more on the development of the motor skills.
Yes, sir. So it's something
Yes,
like same as we do. Even what we do is we give much more importance in strengthening their fine motor skills, so they are able to strengthen
right.
their fingers, so that they will be able to get the strength when they go in the formal school to hold the pencils properly. That's great, sir. So moving to our next question. So I always notice you are a very happy person. Always that smile you wear is really very positive. And your country, Bhutan, is famous for its outstanding and specific culture, and especially famous for the happiest people living in that country. And you being a very good example. So, how is it possible, sir, to transform your magnificent culture to the kids in the early childhood stage so that they grow to be happy as well?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for appreciating that. And then I feel that the smile on my face is gifted from my parents, from my Majesty the King. And to be honest, like in Bhutan, if you come, I'm sure very soon I'll be conducting the international conference on early childhood care educations. So maybe you'll be able to experience that too. So in Bhutan, we have one very interesting philosophy called GNH. GNH we call gross national happiness. In other parts of the world, the focus is more on gross domestic product, how the development is focused on the GDP. But in Bhutan, first the fourth king has put that into constitutions saying that the people should be happy first, whoever it is. So how do you make the people happy? How do you make the citizens happy? And if that is the question, we answer that we have a philosophical gross national happiness. And our country our king has provided us with free education, free health. If you do what kind of surgery, it's totally free. And then if you cannot treat in the country, that patient is sent outside. That is also funded by the government. And if you don't have a land, then you go to the Majesty's Secretariat office, and Majesty will verify, and then you get a land to build your house. And then if you have no education, you can go abroad for further studies. You know, we do have universities in the country, but if you wish to go for further studies, if you are not able to do yourself, then again you approach to the Majesty, and then Majesty's Secretariat office will look into it. So then, and then what about the farmers? Farmers sometimes face some disasters with the natural calamities. That time also, if there is a problem with the crop damage and all that, again we approach the Majesty, and then of course His Majesty is always there to support. The government is always there to support. And then we in the country, so we focus more on the gross national happiness. If people are happy, then obviously they will be able to contribute more towards the gross domestic product. So that's how, maybe in that case, like we are always happy, and that's we are best with that.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. So, I want to know one secret, and hopefully you will be able to let it out, the secret. So, the secret is just the same question what I want to ask, the happiness of the Bhutan people. So, what is the secret behind it, sir, that we would like to know, and how you can empower it from the early childhood education?
Secret in the sense it's open book. Everybody feels that Bhutan is the happiest country, and maybe because like we believe so much in religion, we believe so much in helping people around, and then our focus is more on the spiritual values, and then the cultures that we impart to our children and inculcate in children's mind. I think that's all the thing that we have got from our parents as well. And when it comes to the education, early childhood care, what exactly we do is, as I mentioned in the beginning, the spiritual and culture values is very important. So I feel that is the only secret that we have. And the country should focus more on the gross national happiness rather than focusing more on the materialistic world, not going too much to the materialistic world, not running after the money and power and all the time. Human life is also very important. If there is no human on earth, what is the point of having so much of infrastructures and materialistic thing that is around us? People should be happy who is staying in the country. Like at home, if your family is happy, then your life is, success. And if you're not happy at home, then what is the point of having a home? The family should be happy first. Likewise, in the country, the citizens should be happy. And if our citizens are happy, then obviously that will help the development of the country as well. So the secret is like people should be happy, and then the spiritual and cultural value should be taken care from the early days, and all people should work together as a team to support, to respect, and of course every country is doing that. I've seen every country, especially the Sri Lanka. When I visited your country, it's so wonderful to see that your culture is preserved so much. I visited almost all the schools in your country, and then I have seen that they speak only the local language. And when I visited your college for some lecture, I had a tough time interacting with your participants because they wanted to, understand more in. Of course, they understand English, but they wanted to. They want local language as well. But unfortunately, I could speak. But everybody is. So that is how people should do. That's every country do, and we as a educator should inculcate that in the child's mind as well.
So, sir, that is where I think from the early childhood stage itself, we have to instill the religious and the spiritual awareness in them. Then only I think later these things will try to seep into them. So,
Correct,
thank you,
correct.
sir, for opening up the secret. And I think it's really a blessing to live in a country where everyone is happy. So, that is the ultimate goal for everyone. And like you said, sir, if a family is happy, so we consider a family means it's a unit of society. So, if one family is happy, the whole society will be happy. And the whole society is happy means the country turns out to be a very happy country. So,
Right.
well said, sir. Moving on to our next question, sir. We all know that policies are important to be followed in education because these policies help to set standards and guidelines that maintain the quality of education, like in schools and colleges. These policies establish frameworks, assessment methods, and teacher qualifications, all of which contribute to the good quality of education. Most countries have its own policies. I really want to know, sir, is there any specific policy to be followed in early childhood education in your country? If so, if you could share with us.
Thank you. This is very interesting question. I really want to shout out at the world that for every country, the policy should be different, but for early care, for all children, I feel that the world should shout loud that policy should be same. Because you know why? Because every parents wish to have their children, whatever the policy may be, it differs from country to country. But every country has its own policy, as you mentioned today. And but in the world, all children are same. That is the very basic thing, right? I mean, like you should understand that all children, like for instance, if you give something, let's take a very simple example. If you give a sweet to one child from Sri Lanka, one sweet to Bhutan children of the same age
Mm.
of India, South Asia country, we give one sweet to every child. You, you see their smile, everybody smiles when you give a sweet to a same age old child. And instead of a sweet, you give a stick. No children likes that, whether it's in Sri Lanka or whether it's in Bhutan or whether it's in India or Nepal or Bangladesh, everywhere. So what I'm trying to say here is like I feel the world policy for the child care should be same for all. What parents at the end of the day, what parents expect their children to grow up to be? First is the child should be good for family, right? And the second, the child should be good for the community. And third, the child should be good for workplace and for profession.
Mm.
And the fourth thing is like the child should be good for the national, international citizenship. So if you calculate all this, all parents in the world wish their child to be good in all the four basics that I have shared above. So if that is the required thing in everywhere, why not we have the same policy in early childhood care center? So when we have this kind of thing, it's a basic thing. I feel that every child care in the world should have the same policy. But I'm not saying that the country policy should be same in every country. But
Mm.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the policy which is in the education system, especially in early childhood care
Mm.
center, should be around 60% should be same in every country. Should be same in every, not, but remaining percentage can differ from countries,
Mhm.
development of the country, the standard of the country, and the living standard of people around. But around 60% the policy in the early childhood care should remain, the basics should remain the same. So that's why when you asked that question, I was ever, excited to tell that
Mm.
I wanted to shout out to the loud, to you as well, especially, if we can have the same uh, policy in early childhood care where we can make every child happy, where we can make child
Mm.
everything, not focusing just on the academic part, but in the values and holistic
Mm.
development approach. I think that the policy should remain same in the world. That's what I feel. But that's just my saying. I'm not saying
Mm.
that the world should implement that, but I'm just giving a thought so that when
Mm.
you have something, you have a plan, then you directly think about, oh, my child should be good for the family. My child should be good for the community. My child should be good for the workplace and for the profession where he or she is working. And my child should be good for the national, and he or she should be good for the international citizenship. So if that is taken care, I think that the policy in the country, all over the world, should remain same in
Balanced.
early childhood. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So that really makes things clear. Moving on to our next question, sir. As the world keeps progressing, new trends also arises. So I'm talking about new trends in education. Two new approaches according to the trends are child-centered approach, and the teacher is a facilitator. No more teacher. It's called a facilitator now. So she plays a facilitator role. So will you be able to explain, sir, how ECC centers in Bhutan do the activities using these two new trends?
Correct, madam. Correct. Well said. Teachers are no more teachers now. They are the facilitators.
Facilitator.
Students, yeah, students are no more students. We cannot tell that these kids that they're, if you consider them as students, I think that one day the child can ask you a different question where you cannot answer also. So I think that time is changing. So we as a teacher should not be feeling that we know everything. Or that's why I always believe that one should have a PT program all the time. We as a teacher, we as a parent should learn every day, to keep ourselves up to date. Children are learning from the gadgets these days. Around 95% of the information is from the internet and from the gadgets these days. Only 5% they're getting from their friends and from local. So I think we need to be careful as a teacher also. We need to be careful as a policy maker. We need to be careful as an institute. We need to be careful as a parents that the children knows much better than us. The children are ahead of us. So keeping that in mind, I feel that we as a teacher, as educators, we feel that what is so important is we feel that children should not be considered as students now, and teachers should not be feeling that I'm a teacher and I know everything. That's not going to happen anymore. So in Bhutan also, I think the time is changing everywhere in the world. People are focusing on the STEAM educations. People are forced, the new trend, as you mentioned, everybody is going as teachers are no more teachers. They are the facilitators, we call. So in Bhutan also, it's the same thing. So it's just to feel that the teachers and students are learning from each other. Of course, doesn't mean that the student knows everything. Of course, teachers are knows much better than the students, but sometimes it's good to ask from the students what
Yes.
exactly they want, how they want to learn, and letting the children to lead their own way and guiding them in the proper direction is the new trend. And I feel that it should be continued, and then we should focus more on that, because when you let children to learn their own, when we give some work to them, letting the children to do their own and appreciating them at the end, I think the children learns much more better than giving
Worthwhile.
instruction and just listening. Yeah.
Mm.
So I feel that it should be a new trend, not just a trend, but it should be
Continue.
continued that the children and teachers should work together because they spend most of the days together in the schools and in ECCD. So when they learn from each other, when you let children to do their own, appreciate them, guide them, and then take them in the proper direction, where the teacher gets satisfied with the job. Otherwise, teachers just teach the concept, and then the children, whether they understand or not, if that is the case, and just give the result out of that. I think this should not be the learning and teaching. The learning and teaching should be interactive in the classroom. Teachers should learn from the students should learn from the teachers, they should learn from their friends, and the classroom should be an interactive station, not just a robot and one person teaching and everybody listens to that. It should not happen. It's not going to happen also, and the trend is coming, and then people should continue with that. And I encourage the children to come forward, and I encourage the teachers to learn and keep themselves up to date, because you never know what questions will come one day. And
Exactly.
as a parent also,
Mm.
you cannot say that,
Yeah.
if one day, if child asks, Father, can you please tell me why birds are flying? You cannot say the bird has a feather, that's why they're
Yes.
flying. You cannot say that. Then
Ex-
the child may say that even the aeroplane does not
Yeah.
have a feather, but it flies in the sky. If that is the question thing keeps coming, I think that is the time where we get lost. So as a teacher,
Mm.
as a student, as a parent, every day we all should learn, and most importantly, we have to learn from each other. I learned so much from Sri Lanka. I learned so much
Mm.
from Nepal, from India, and then very soon we are going to Singapore, Malaysia, and all that. From there also we are going to learn so much. So exposure is important for
Mm.
teachers, for students is very important, and then we all have to work together so that everybody learn from each other.
Mm. Yes, so it's really true. Like when we talk about the early childhood system, where the traditional teaching takes place, where it's teacher-centered, that really doesn't work. It has to always be child-centered, where child is considered as the hero and seeing the comforts of the child. So that really works. So it was a really good explanation, sir. Uh, So, when we think of challenges, challenges are part and parcel of everyone's life, and people should face challenges very confidently. What is your opinion, sir, about that? Facing challenges
For me,
positively.
oh yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
I feel that challenges should come in life.
Yes.
Whenever I tell to my staff, my colleagues, I just say that never look at the advantage side, look at the disadvantage side. And I always tell to parents that when your child falls, never rescue your child from the obstacle. Life
Mm,
is full of obstacles, and if you keep on rescuing your child from those obstacles, and if you
true.
keep on looking at those advantages, you are not going to have a successful life. And
Mm,
for me, I personally don't challenge with anyone. I don't compare myself with anyone. I always challenge myself that I can do better the next day. And then when your intention is good and when your intention is to benefit others, and you get a lot of blessing on the way. So over the years, like whatever I have achieved, is all because of my hard work, and of course the backup from my wife, who is very supportive. At the same
mm,
time, looking at my son, and then gives a lot of encourage, and my parents working so hard, and then given so much of good educations and well to the siblings of my. I feel that the challenges should come on the way, and
mm,
then I feel that I always take the challenge as a positive, and then I try to convert the disadvantage into advantage, and that's how I live my life every day.
mm,
For instance, when I drive, if I jump over the potholes,
mm,
that is a disadvantage when I drive. But the next day, I know that the moment I reach to that spot, I know there is a pothole, so I should be very careful. I have to escape that. So that's how the life is all about. Like
true.
I take the challenges positively,
Mm,
man, in a way. I lived in a just positive way, and then I never look back the track, but I learn from the mistake, and I try to correct the mistake. There is a saying, failure is the pillar of success. I want to correct that. I feel that if you keep on failing, then where is success? I feel that correction of the failure makes you a successful person. So
true.
I always look at the failure as some, people failing to do that work, and I try to correct
Mm,
that, and then I try to do it in a different way. So that's how the life is all about: taking challenge, meeting with the obstacles. That is part
mm.
and parcel of life, as you mentioned.
Yes.
So I think we should take it positively, and I do the same.
Thank you so much, sir, for from your experience. We really learned something new. Sir, now when we talk about this early childhood development center, we always do activities in a holistic approach, like a total development concept. So, sir, when you're doing the activities in the holistic approach, you might be facing, Bhutan might be facing certain challenges to implement the holistic activities. If you could tell us some challenges you would face or Bhutan is facing when implementing these holistic activities.
Okay. To be honest, in Bhutan, we don't face much problem in implementing the holistic development approach in early childhood education. The reason is like we have a guided book, we have a syllabus
Oh.
in early childhood care, and then
Hmm.
like in the formal school, we have a guided principle where where the syllabus where we can teach to children should go, and we have a
Hmm.
year plan, then monthly plan, weekly plan, daily plan, according to that
Hmm.
syllabus. We
Hmm.
call early learning development standard. We say ELDS.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in that ELDS, there are different categories, then subdomain is there, and if the three, if the child is can do that activity, that is a suggested activities. The child is not able to do that activities, then you go to the suggested activities and letting the child to do in a different way. So there are so many things that we have. So because of that one, I have not seen much challenges. But implementing that holistic development is also very important in the early childhood care. At the same time, one very interesting thing, if I can share, is here in the country we call a book called Jamtsho. We say it's an integrity, teaching integrity at the very early age, So if we can teach that integrity uh, towards love towards your country, towards your work, towards your parents, your friends, towards your studies, I think with that the children learn. So if we are not taking care of the small things in the early age, then later that becomes a problem. For instance, I want to cite a small example. If a child is hiding something from the teacher should correct that at the very early age. The teacher should correct that this is not the right thing to do. So otherwise, if we do not correct, that the child will continue, and when they grow up, they're going to do something different, which is unimaginable. We cannot even control. So I feel that this holistic development approach is not just focusing on the academic part, but we should focus on overall values, culture, native language, and everything that I mentioned earlier should be taken care. So at the very early age, if we can take care of all this, then the child can develop in a holistic approach.
Hmm. So that was awesome, sir. Very well explained. So thank you very much, sir, for this lovely opportunity, for sharing your valuable knowledge, insight, advice, and giving us your valuable time. The knowledge you have given us indeed will be beneficial, and we clearly understand how much native language and so that was really awesome, sir. Thank you very much, sir, Jamsho, for this valuable, lovely opportunity for sharing us your valuable knowledge, insight, advice, and giving us your valuable time. The knowledge you have given us indeed will be beneficial, and we indeed clearly understand how much of this native language and culture can be important to early childhood education. Your ideas were really impressive, and I thank you again, sir, to accept my invitation and being with us on this platform. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes,
Thank
sir,
you, ma'am.
and
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
yes, thank you so much for being with
Yeah,
us
yeah.
today.
Sorry,
And
I
just,
sorry for the interruption.
no, it's okay, sir.
Yeah,
And
sorry for
just
the
wanted
interruption.
to
Before you
remind
wind up,
you,
before you
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Please tell me.
Yeah, so before we wind
Yeah,
up, just wanted to remind you all again about the international conference, which is going to be held from the May 26th to the 30th in Delhi. And I would like to thank our academic and hosting partner, Dr. Kalam International Foundation, and our collaborating partner, the Western Province Preschool Unit, for being our valuable partners for this upcoming conference. And thank you so much again, sir. And would you like to say for a few words, sir, before we wind up this session?
yes. There was a little bit of network issues in between, and some breakage of communication was there. I like to thank your organizer and then our president, Sir Janika, for introducing me and my country to your association, which is doing a wonderful job. And then I request the educators from around the world to participate in the upcoming conference in Delhi.